Okay friends, to do this job, you're gonna have to lower your spare tire. So make your way into the back seat and you're gonna go ahead and find these tools. You need the tire iron, which has this adapter piece right here. You're also gonna need the rod that has the hook at the end. Let's go ahead and take that and we're gonna put it right in the center hole located underneath the Ford emblem on your tailgate. Slide that end right in there until it stops. You should feel it want to sit right in. Now we'll put the squared end onto the piece here. And now we're going to turn this counterclockwise and start lowering our spare tire. Once you have it lowered down to the ground, you're going to want to go ahead and follow that cable that's coming from the vehicle down to the spare tire. You're going to have to break the adapter free. Typically it's going to be stuck in there. Just go ahead and give it a loving bonk with a hammer. Now I'm going to reach inside. I'm going to have to flip this up sideways and pull it on out of here. There. So this is essentially how I put it up, and then I pulled it up and through the center. When it's in the wheel, it's sitting just like this. Now at this point, I wanted to explain something. If you're doing this in the driveway, not on a lift, you can carefully leave the rear wheels on the ground. You're going to slide a jack underneath the frame in front of the rear wheels. Essentially, all we want to do is gently support the frame so it's sitting in the proper position. If you're going to be doing this on a lift, you can go ahead and get this safely up and off the ground and apply some support underneath the rear differential. Now, since I'm doing this on the lift, I have it raised by the frame and I'm going to support the rear differential. To remove this, I'm going to use a 15mm headed wrench to hold the bolt from the forward side. Use an 18mm to remove the nut and then, of course, drive the bolt right on out of here. Now that we have the lower part of the shock out, let's move along to the upper portion. You're going to find that it has two studs that protrude up and through the frame. For those, we're going to have to remove two 13mm mounting nuts. Now the one towards the front is going to be the hardest to get to, so that's where I always like to start. I'll use a 13mm wrench and I'll just start turning it counterclockwise until it's fully removed. There's one of my mounting nuts. This one's going to be a little easier to access, which is going to be nice. Let's get this nut off of there as well. We can set that aside. Let's grab onto that shock and pull it right on out of the vehicle. There it is, friends. Okay, friends, it's going to be time to get ready to install our brand new rear shock. What you're going to notice when you take it out of the packaging is it comes with this strap over it. We need to remove that. I'm going to carefully put it down on the floor in between my 2 feet, holding it steady. I'll press this down and then I can remove my strap. At this point, you're going to let this make its way all the way up and decompress. Once it's fully decompressed, you need to fully compress it another 3 to 5 times and let it make its way all the way back up. That's going to charge the shock. Let's get this in the vehicle. Okay, so now we can get ready for our installation. Let's take both of our brand new mounting bolts and we're going to put them from the top down and through the holes. Now that we have both of those through, we're going to continue on to the shock. Now for the shock, you want to make sure that you have these two ears slid right over those bolts. Now, once you have it so it's over the bolts as it should be, continue on to your locking washers and then each of your mounting nuts. All right, so now that we have them started, let's go ahead and hold the top of the bolts with a 14 millimeter. We'll tighten the nuts with a 13 from the bottom. Now that we have both of them snug, let's go ahead and torque each of them to 17 foot-pounds. Now we can resecure our lower shock. We'll just take this. Generally, you can compress it a little bit and line it up. Once it's in position, go ahead and put the bolt through from the front to the rear. Now we can put this nut on here, we'll bottom it out and then torque it to 46 foot-pounds. Okay, so now at this point we've got our rear shock in here. When you do these, you do them as a pair. The process for the other side will be the exact same thing. All right, we're at the point where you can lower the vehicle and get ready to reinstall your spare tire. Go ahead and take the apparatus and slide it right through the center. All right, let's go ahead and start jacking it up into its proper position. All right, so I cranked it up until this ended up stopping. The next thing that you want to do is double check to make sure it's completely secured. You don't want to be driving with this bouncing around. It could break free and then bounce down the road while you're driving. Oh yeah, that's nice and tight.